Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Aquaporn. In this episode, we're going to be going over my sump. If you saw my first video, you'll know that the stand that I built is not for a sump, or I didn't have a sump in mind when I built the stand. I actually built the stand thinking I was going to have two display sedans until I got into marine and I decided to change it into a sump area. Now I'm going to be focusing on this area because this area is just too tight to have a workable sump. So I've had some ideas on how I'm going to be able to do maintenance a little easier in this area. It's always going to be a pain to do maintenance on this sump, but there are some things I can do to make it a little bit easier. First off, I'm going to get a hang on the back skimmer. I'm going to cut a little hole in the wall or in the back of the stand, so I'll be able to get to the skimmer by going behind the stand rather than in the sump area. Also, going to be splitting up the first stage all the way on the left. I've got an idea over here that I just got done building, and the light is pretty bright, so it's kind of hard. Here we go. So basically I'm taking stage one. I divided it into two more stages. This is my two-stage ghetto Walmart special. Basically what I did is I got these two containers. I think they're cereal containers or something along those lines, and silicone them together. Now the overflow drains are going to come and attach here. The water will flow down to the bottom of this first stage. That'll fill up that whole chamber, and it'll overflow right here. It'll overflow onto my filter floss. I'm just not going to have the room for filter socks, so I'm going to be using filter floss and filter pads and that type of thing. This I'll be able to put really close to the front, and that way I'll be able to get my hand in there to change them out relatively easily. From there, the water trickles down and then goes out below the bottom, then flows towards the back of the tank towards the skimmer. Now I had to do this because I actually got kind of lucky, and that width fits exact to this first stage here. It'll go wall to wall, so I couldn't put the outlet on the front. I had to actually raise this up a little bit just so I wouldn't impede my flow. So when it flows down, I'm still getting a decent amount of flow coming out. If I had put it on this side, flow would have been restricted. I mean, the stage would have definitely filled up, but it wouldn't have worked as well. And then this will be really easy to take out and remove and replace because it's going to be right at the front of the tank all the time. So this I'm also hoping will help with salt creep. The lid, I actually was able to adjust the lid and make a few modifications, and then that way I'm not getting any splash up. Because it's so tight, I don't want to get too much salt creep in this cabinet area. I did water seal it, the wood under there, to help with, I don't want it to rot out or anything right away. But this week I'll be working with this. I'm on day 21 of the cycle, and I'm still getting 0 ammonia, 0 nitrite, but my nitrate is starting to spike. So I want to hurry up, get this done, because my plan is the sump is going to be all about nitrate and phosphate removal. All the biological, the first part of the cycle, will be happening up in the tank. As you can see, I got a ton of rock up there. Don't know if I like that much anymore, but I want all of the breakdown of ammonia and nitrite happening here, coming down, and then everything about this is going to be about removing nitrates and phosphates. Part of this sump that I haven't shown yet, down here I've got a canister filter I actually got that for free. Well, not free, but 60 bucks. A guy was moving to Australia, was giving away his tank, so I picked up a 12-gallon Marineland. This canister filter, loads and loads of equipment, at least $400 to $500 of equipment for 60 bucks. So what I'm going to use this canister filter for is I'm going to have my ChemiPure FosGuard or Raw Fos or something along those lines. This is all going to be about chemical filtration here. That'll pump back up to the sump, and I'm going to run it along the back here, and so it'll go through another pass through the sump. So this is what I'm working on this week. By the end of the week, hopefully I'll get that going, because the nitrates are up to about, they're up over 40. They're not quite 80 ppm. But I don't want to come out of this cycle with a lot of nitrates and phosphates and have to deal with some crazy algae problems. It's all about keeping your water. So the water parameters is like a big concern for me, or a big focus rather. I'm focusing really hard, because that's one thing I learned in my freshwater, is that you're not really a fish keeper, you're a water keeper. And keep your water parameters where they need to be, and everything will work out just fine and becomes autopilot. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do, get this tank to where it's on autopilot, where I only have to make 10% to 20% water changes every 2 weeks. And I got some ideas for that in the future too, because I don't like lugging buckets all around. So I got some great plumbing ideas that I'll show you all when I get to that stage. But for now, I've got that built. I've got rubber padding for my return pump to knock down the vibration. I got to make a couple adjustments to the skimmer. And I'm making my water. So once I get ready for the water change, I'm going to just drain the sump, get it ready to go. So stay tuned for episode 2, which will be putting it all together, getting this whole sump rocking and a rolling. See you next time.